You get 5 minutes to speak, and if at the end of your time speaking there is time for questions, then some of our elected members may have some questions for you. And Casey times you and gives you a 1 minute to go signal. All right? Okay, Kapai, we'll start with Mr. Riley.
Thank you for doing this for us over by the base station. But make sure it's followed up and mowed regularly with the rest of it. But I have a number of issues quickly. We are 7 days a week, 4 weeks a month people as a community, and the board meetings used to be first Wednesday of the month. It was regular, you could remember. Juggling around with calendars is not really good enough. You're here to serve the community. Street sweeping is somewhat neglected. When I first came here, it was swept by hand every morning before everybody came to work. Now, when grass grows in the gutter, it hasn't been done for quite some time. NAFA is a high one on my list. Appointment only to use the facility is simply not good enough. There are 175,000 people visit a similar spa in Belgium every year. That's the potential we've got in this community. And while we're mowing the roadsides, why can't we get that contractor to go down and mow past the apple tree and Thorpe Road, make it look just a little bit tidier? And the last thing I'll think of, in your agenda, you have sections blacked out. This is a public document. That information should be, by rights, public knowledge. You're dealing with public money. I object strongly to having that information blacked out. Thank you for your patience.
Can I ask a question to Mr. Riley?
Yes, certainly.
So, if we mow down to the apple tree, are you going to come back next month and want more? Maybe down to the dead tree or the next apple tree?
No, I'll be satisfied if it goes to the end of Thorpe Road. That little bit of road there, the 300 actually, would be quite adequate. The road looks neat, it's tidy, and it makes up for what hasn't been done for about 12, 18 months.
Cool. And what do you mean by making appointments? You would talk about NAFA making appointments. Can you expand on making appointments to NAFA? Because I'm not up for that.
NAFA is a geothermal.
Oh, you don't know that, but the making appointments thing, is that a thing?
To be able to go there and get in the water.
Huh?
That's simply not good enough.
Wow.
It's restricting the use of an asset that once was community owned, now given to a small group of people for their benefit. And as I said, 175,000 people visiting every year is quite a potential that we could be looking at. Think what difference it would make to this town.
Mr. Ray, just in response to that matter, I think that the reason for the timetabling of NAFA is for health and safety reasons, because we don't want 100 people in the bulldog pool at once. It's a way of managing the numbers of people that can go there.
Look, I've lived here for 50 years.
Me too.
I know how that pool has been operated in the past.
Yeah.
And I've never seen 100 people climb into the bulldog pool at once.
Probably not 50 years ago when it wasn't as attractive as it is now. It's become a real space that lots of people come to, and I think the numbers from 50 years ago have trebled.
Right, but it's still accommodating.
Yeah, I understand your frustration.
There were 3 complexes once, Maori pools, the county pool, and Gin's pools. Now, Gin's pools is affected, not closed, so the potential still exists for a bigger accommodation.
And how often do you use the pool? Mr. Riley?
Because
How often do you use the NAPA calls yourself? You don't.
strangely enough, when I first came here, I did it regularly. And then I came home, got down on my knees to do some concreting and couldn't because of flagging.
No. Can I just ask Melissa to respond to the apple tree, or to follow up on the apple tree comment? Because from my understanding, the apple tree boil happened a few meetings ago, and somebody went down there to view it, and there was a dip of some description, and a lawnmower couldn't go down there, but there was some
That
talk
is not
about,
acceptable. It could be done.
and there was some talk about it being weed eated.
Well, the
So,
person knows what
did-
you can do.
I did speak to NTA about it. They have a contract and they mow within their contract specifications. And I think probably they may have spoken to you previously, Sean, about this. So we can arrange for you to have a conversation to get the information back to you if you haven't already received it around how they contract to mow that area. Okay? Yep.
Thank
It's a
you.
start.
Thank you, Mr. Riley.
I think we provided you that information before, actually.
Okay, our next, public forum speaker is Wally Hick from Kaikohe, talking about Te Roahanga Nui Big Vision Hokianga.
Well,
Wally.
I think that the Kaikohe makes us one group. And so I've been thinking about the reason that you're here is because of my consent to be governed. And I've realised that I can withdraw my consent to be governed about certain things, issues, individual issues, such as the renewals of the Kaikohe Town Hall. And another one of the issues is standing here with my back to the other manawhiris, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to speak from here. 5 minutes is not very long in the great English tradition of where I come from. Originally, I'm Kiwi English, I have to say, great English version of oral and written ranting, and that's what I do, I rant. So my first thing is about before I go on to Titahana, which I'm going to, is about narratives, the changing of narratives. In the last few days, the narrative about the gorges has changed. And suddenly we're asking for a route around them, not to reopen them. Here's one. Everybody was complaining about Jason Momoa's film about tangata whenua. Mana whenua was not getting, preventing people from getting jobs as extras on Jason Momoa's films because they hadn't negotiated the locations. Oh, turns out the location is full of koi, full of bones. Wahitapu. I come to you today from Kaikohe as, if you will, the last surviving member of the visioning group, Vision Kaikohe. Tirohanga Vision Kaikohe is the second iteration of it. And I want to start presenting to you in my rants Tirohanga Nui Vision, the big vision. And it's for more than Kaikohe, it's for me, it's for Hokianga and Kaikohe as well, but I'll stick with Hokianga ki te raki for the moment. The book associated with that is this, the second iteration of our visioning process. Another book that came to me recently is E.F. Schumacher's Small is Beautiful. This was written and published when I was in the sixth form at Auckland Grammar School. And it's about, what it's about, John Busich, you might relate to this, it's about us going village. Let's go village, shall we? And when we go village, we think, well, the development, the growth of North Hokianga is not well measured by the number of people who get on the ferry each morning and cross to drive their vehicles, generally with one person in them, to jobs elsewhere from North Hokianga. This makes me feel like we may have made a stupid mistake somewhere along. When we could have, for instance, for just $30 million, now I know it sounds like a lot, $30 million for a fast ops gasification facility in Manganui Broadwood. But $30 million, for $30 million, Farm and Fisheries Council could have 70 of these things to process all the plastic and all the pine trees and all the waste, all of our waste, including, I gather, sewage sludge from the bottom of the ponds, and turn it into fuel, diesel fuel, not aviation fuel. John, but gasification is getting a bad name, John, because people want to turn it into aviation fuel, which requires a whole lot of extra refining and turns out to be carcinogenic for the people who work in the refinery.
1 minute, sorry, Wally.
Okay, is that the whole 5 minutes?
It is.
Okay, so built, I just want to say that built around a core industry like this is a whole lot of other industry. Hemp, all the service industries, and I invite you as Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board to consider being the people who initiate a model of this for the rest of Aotearoa New Zealand in Hokianga Ki Te Raki, North Hokianga, just as Aotearoa New Zealand modelled the best in the world, it's coming 5, stopping when we stopped for COVID. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wally. We have a couple of seconds. Oh,
If there is
time for one
one
Second.
question, sure.
Kia ora, Wally. Many things, you know, I absolutely agree with you on about to growth and village and things that you're talking about. We did receive a brief report around what I think you're talking about with gasification, which is creating energy from burning waste. And I think a lot more needs to be looked into that, because the reports that we're getting through is that it's actually not safe environmentally friendly or worth the money. So there's some homework.
I've done the homework. If I may have delegation time, a little longer than 5 minutes at some stage, I can explain all that to you. The offsetting of this by the planting of 50 times more plants than we remove. For each pine tree, we plant 50 natives, and that sequesters the emissions that we're going to make by keeping running our existing cars for the next 30 years.
thank you, Wally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. Next we have Linda Bracken from the Kaikohe Business Association. Linda.
Morning. There's so much positive things happening in Kaikohe, so thank you for the work that you're doing. If I just change your hat for a minute, keeping to my five minutes, I sit on a review panel for Top Energy, which looks at monitoring of the Napa Springs area. So you're right, Chicky, there's a whole lot of health and safety, and the numbers that go through the pools can influence the guidelines for that monitoring. So every 6 months we review the monthly monitoring of that area. There's also the regular clean out of those pools to keep them hygienic. So as much as it feels a little inconvenient for the locals, it's still well managed and looking at development there. So that's it. So back to the Kaikohe Business Association, many things on our agenda. We're working slower than I would have hoped through the graffiti, but looking at some other ways of engaging more volunteers to get that graffiti out of town and make it look tidy. One of the issues that's come up in the last week is our electric power charging station. So just bringing it to your awareness. I know I've spoken to John. I got a call out one night. Two different people were trying to get out to Ofanoni. They had cars that only require 10 minutes to charge. They turned up at our one charge station, which has 2 points in there, and there was a private business charging their cars, and they've been on charge for an hour and a half. So not really acceptable when you're looking at council. When you start up a business, you need to be aware that get your own chargers to charge your electric cars. But being aware, is it also highlighting maybe a need to look at more charging stations within our community? Maybe even going further to get from here to the Hokianga to Whangarei, just that right on there. In my remaining time, I'd like to introduce Scarlett as our secretary for the Kaikohe Business Association, and she's going to stand up and do a little bit of an intro very quickly on a up and coming event for businesses within our area.
Oh, I've actually got time to speak on my event, and yes, KDA, I'm one of the participants, one of the leads for that event. Book development is a particular one. Stoked to be in service of the community with an impact with the KDA and an amazing group of individuals.
So we had an amazing breakfast event. So when you see those invites coming out for attending our sort of community breakfasts and that, if you can make it along, that would be really great as well. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Linda. Any questions for Linda? Community members?
Absolutely, so for have an EV, there is a business that uses it and sometimes have to wait a really long time. I absolutely support having another charger or working something out. I'm not sure what council role is in that. Would like to follow up.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Who installed the previous one, the one that's there now? Linda?
Council.
Yeah, just that was some of the early things that I was tested. We did a number of places and made it available for council area. So we charged the keep on the facility. And sit there under
Yeah.
increasingly using more station.
What's the cost of that around about, John? Do you
Price? It was virtually zero. Yes, so we make space and they get through and you can't have the following. And the use of it to expand. But I think that's something we as a council are going to make. All that was in the same
need for another one? At least.
If I could just mention,
Councillor Cupper.
what was heating would be also if someone has data on the number of EVs coming through the door and how long it's staying and destination system from one point to the other. It's good to pick up.
The more available that charger stations are, the more people come, because at the moment you can look and see whether there's something available, how far away it is old, the more people, the more use will have. And even though there's 2 plugs, you can only use one at a time. So you're waiting in line for them now.
Okay, Silda. Thank you, Linda, for your report from the Kaikohe Business Association. Next, from Public Forum, we have Shem Kerr from Broadwood, I believe, Shem, talking about footpath maintenance. Hilda.
Hello. Te waka waka. I puta ai. Ihu.
Speak up, Shem, we can't hear you today.
I apologise for the design of this meeting, the venue and the arrangement. There are issues with the design of this building for speaking. I'd like to read the words, the translation of the words of the mayor. There is much to do around, there's much to do for myself and fellow Maori councillors to correct the errors made within this building. And I'd say that's not just for councillors, it's for community board members. I was going to speak on a stretch of footpath in Broadwood that the council removed, and they have a job number for this. It's job sheet 2021/26 space 7.2A. It's clause 1, which is to engage to review the design and costings for repair, replacement, and to help find funding for the project. So far, the council staff has not followed those instructions. I understand the board itself has just since February, March, moved on to using the tools that are provided for them under, I think it's the second page of this meeting's agenda. It is under your terms of reference. And the first, the major one is the point number 6. That's basically to consult and to give advocacy. Second one is kotahitanga. That's 0.5 on your terms of reference. And the third one is rangatiratanga, which is the fourth point on terms of reference. And your staff, support staff, are probably and have been indifferent, careless, and negligent. They've been partial and disrespectful of the community in not dealing with those points, using those tools. It's really hard doing this venue. It should be on a marae. I just can't, I just don't have the feeling here, and I can't talk.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Shin.
So Jim, just very quickly, that footpath was removed for renewal. Do you know what date that was done?
At the beginning of 2021.
And has it not been renewed and there's no replacement?
No, there's no replacement, there's just a big hole with water.
Thank you.
And children have to go around on the road where parents have to transport us.
Not just children, anyone who has a car
Yeah.
cannot use that. It's gone.
Yeah, so we need to follow that up, see what happened there. That's not right.
Thank you, Shin. Any further questions for Shin? No. Is there anybody else here for public forum?
Yes, that was right. I understood I was put in on Jenny Wood.
I hope that she's deputy.
Yeah, you've got a deputation. Oh, no, that's Jenny Duval.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay, Jenny Kerr.
Yes, please.
Okay, Jenny, you've got 5 minutes. Thank you. Good. And I'm really sorry, I forgot to mention, the reason why we're in this space this morning is because there is some work going on over in the main area that will improve the lighting and acoustics and the recording of meetings in the council chambers. So just apologies for the setup. I know I can't see some people live and that's not great, but I'll try and jiggle around and we'll make it work for today. Good order, Jenny.
Thank you. May I just say the acoustics are equally bad in the council chamber?
Yes, just that's why they've got the filters over there.
Okay, and other community venues I've been in with meetings have been cold and just the same.
Yeah.
It's great to be speaking to a new and more representative community board and indirectly the council. Just brilliant. so glad at the progress. We've come home to North Hokianga and we experienced the principles. I wasn't out of the room, actually. I presume you covered your shovels, James. You didn't, okay. Yeah. Just by way of explanation, the principles of manaakitanga, kotahitanga and rangatira-tanga appear to be part of the toolbox, although not in those words. Inclusiveness and working together and community leadership from the community which you were part of, so that's great. Those shovels is there anytime you want to pick them up. I want to address another shovel partway through here. We've experienced all of those qualities in our community since we returned here after decades away. The tautoko, the overall tautoko with neighbours from Miti Miti to Manaka to Mangamuka, and of course including Manganui-a-Wai, are really just gentle and embracing, and it's just so delightful to experience it from, you know, working with preteens through to conversing with Kuia and Kaumatua. It just, there's nothing like it. It's a wonderful community. Just a couple of 10-year-olds I worked with after school waiata, creating their own instruments, using hot coals and improvised tools and helping scrape a goat skin and put it over a bucket. And they had kaimbo that worked. They fine-tuned this. They played the drum gently. They worked together in their kapahaka uniforms. They're just gorgeous. And they had a sense of connection, purpose, and just a zest for life because of that community tautoko. And each one just finding and experiencing the kōrero of the instrument they worked with, doing it for themselves. And our rangitangi have so much to offer right at the start of any community project, planning it from the get-go, working with adults who will mentor them and support them into adulthood. And you know, they just flourish in that kind of setting, and they need more. But kids can always use more love, can't they? So please, also as part of this, please consider shovel 7B in your work, in your terms of reference. Point 7B is to vary the menu, vary the venue of these meetings. To include people who don't drive, to include people who are in school all day. People who can't afford to just take time off work and come here, but they could come in from a closer distance to a community venue. And it's in Broadwood. It's very easy to drive right by the best community venue we have. It's the community marae on the Kura grounds. It's got beautiful acoustics, just a classic, simple, well-engineered structure. No ifs, ands or buts about that building. It's solid, and it's been there for a long time. It's got gorgeous artwork by the rangatahi of the Kura, a warm atmosphere and welcome. And could be an opportunity for civic study right there, right there. So please don't let anyone dismiss the need for rangatahi to contribute to community ideas and issues. Our community has so much to offer and to do for themselves, not have it done for them. not have it outsourced to the city. Because we don't have any experts. I beg your pardon. Who built that marae? There's a kōrero that goes something like, be with the tangata whenua. Whakarongo. Pātoko, their rangatiratanga. Ko tahitanga. And when the mahi is done, we will say, we have done this for ourselves. It's like the marae. Please look at it for your next venue.
Thank you. Thank you for our attention. You were right. We've run out of time for questions, sorry. We'll move on to our deputations and our first speaker we have is Renee De Beers on behalf of Manaaki Tinana Trust, Hokianga Savings Trust, to speak in regard to the report history and current usage of the Rangi Reserve Domain. Renee and
I got the invitation wrong, I guess, of the invitation, people, 2%. And that's probably a English. So really important to go over that. Yeah. And so they start, 5 minutes is a little short, probably have to make the bullet points. And it's about the Rangi domain area.
okay, so we have Jenny McDougall,
Yeah.
Liz Poe,
Yeah.
Fiona Fleming, and Dallin August. Purely everybody, fill in. Hi.
It's about the domain, say, first, just for let people talk. First, I must say, the report from Mr. Rockwell here. I really appreciate that, and it's a lot of work for that, and I think she has a lot of money on meeting on. And it's not all that I agree with the report, of course, but some things I still will find. And then there are some things which you might get the wrong impression. But I see how the talk too long already, so I give it to Jenny, because the main thing is to young just about the cherry club needs to go start another place, so we need space, yeah, and then it's pretty urgent with the members, on the 70 members. And we can do it urgently, that's not bad, I will have to. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak. We represent two little groups in Parliament, we both trusts, Hokianga Savings Trust and the Manaaki Trust, which runs the Hokianga Community Charge. We know Michelle's report will be discussed later. And as Renee says, we do very thank the process that has been initiated. But the key things we'd like to add to that report for your information, so we need to discuss it using all the background. While the Savings Trust has brought the council's attention, it's actually the gym that is really interactive by this search. We were trying to occupy the same piece of land. The gym has 146 members. We're really pushed, we've got capacity issues. The need progress on this urgently. So we're asking for quick movement on this. It's all about relationships. We're a small community. Dylan was just going to speak briefly about how this has impacted all of the issue groups.
I'm just here to speak on behalf of the gym, and also be here to support all financial development by the name.
Well done.
Look at this moving forward, finding a way for all moving forward. One thing that really stands out for me is the relationship that we have with youth. When I first came here, I remember saying that we need to build a relationship with youth. For anything to move forward out there, if we're not communicating with one another, we're pushing. We need to be working together to show in your report. My head goes off to Michelle, the positions you've been put in, and the responsibility
the responsibility that should be given. Because of, over the last, couple of years especially, there's been a lot of things been going on, but it's just been getting passed down to the next person. We just like to keep in the loop of what's going on. The woman, Tanya, and Jessie, and Melissa is in our communication with them out in Hokianga, which is very thankful for what they've been doing for us. We just want to find a way where we can move forward. Because like Eddie said, their capacity issue is a real problem for us. My main thing is for us, this year, once we've got through this stage, we've still got to keep moving forward. So we need to have that relationship with youth. We don't have that the vision and you have to move forward on the main. It's just going to be difficult for everybody.
There's one point I'd like to bring to your attention that we think, and there's the mentioning before that toilets at this main are supposed to be for public use, so currently they're locked in Jim holds the key. The reason we're very happy for them to be opened up for public use, but we found ways to clean them, to, all the supplies, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, we can clean them. We can't open them up to public use unless the UDC comes on board and helps with that. And the same was mentioned about the changing rooms, switching out to shower rooms, etc. Service. We can't open them up to public use and take up down because everybody we can hot showers, so we need assistance on that. And still on the topic of toilet, there is a disability toilet in the pollution block. Currently it's padlocked and we can't get into it. It's being used for storage. I think it's even reached the right stage that we can't sign up people that's doing papers if we can't provide the facility for them. But we still under issues they can't sign up as community. And we just wanted to, I know we've only got 5 minutes, we've also got a funding application to the board to discuss today, and it's kind of related to this because we had to hire another venue because we're so appreciative of the space. So we're also applying for funding to hire the Rowan Town Board for a year. And we see this recommendation for funding on that, but we would like to speak to that as well.
And respectfully, we requested actually we be granted the $4,040 that we were applying for rather than $530 as recommended by the funding advisor. We fully appreciate the demands and the expectation we're going to put on you in terms of funding at this time of the year for different Christmas parties and events. But for us, the rental of the town hall is for a period of a whole 12 months. Is that really which will be rather than remain like a meeting that we get significant as to the immediate issues with regard to the town and space, which is why we're asking for this format to be granted. The significant volunteer contribution that goes into all of this with preparing the place at the moment. I think it's been approximately $3 an hour, probably $4,080. Volunteer hours, operations. Again, thank you. Okay, you've still got a couple of minutes if you want to follow up with any other important points. Move to questions.
And unfortunately, the recommendations how to continue is going in, but actually the reports and I think we start to reach out with the council already fast way to do that, and we're happy to go there. It's not our fast way, but we're happy to go there. I think you have already started by putting up your short management plan as priority on your list. And I think what the geothermal testing is actually a pivotal thing. To know exactly where we can build, which space, then we can have better consultation, public consultation as well. So please move forward from that, or look the council that they will do that. Yeah? Then have your public consultation, and then it's a matter of having a concept plan. Which actually, if you make a concept plan, that could be a basis for the company. But It's all there, it's recommendations, but what we would like is that it doesn't end up like footpath around.
Questions?
Just the, also, what Michelle had, the gentleman's no agreement with the saving trust on the lease, I don't think. We are mentioned on the lease, not my name, but by activity, and I'm in the units run the leases and names of the document. It's the fiscal training purposes, as one of the reasons that building, community building will be used. So the German principle, that there's always been provision to be always right. So we are kind of defect of the sort of things
Which is, the formation to be that there is actually a contract, and there is actually, there used to be in gym club. And the gym club just shifted over into the building. And in 2012, when we started the community project for the voting facilities, there was no gym club anymore. Nothing existed. So I talked to the council, the people at those time, Marcos, Jordan, and Stuart, they helped me out there, and we made the deal that if I was able to make a gym there, they would support the project for voting facilities. And as such, we made our building, made the gym there, made the gym building, and then I wrote out in around the news who would become a committee member for the gym. And only two people came, and it was Dylan and Gary, Clark, so it's and Gary Clark, yeah. As the same trust, I had much to do. So we delegated that to Gary Clark, thinking that he was community minded. Didn't work out like that. He actually used that gym as sort of private entity. So I said, look, this is a community project, this is what I'm here. So that we had to start renew, and people from who were using the gym stepped up actually, and those were mainly women who stepped up. I said, no, we do that, and so the whole new gym came about. But it all drove back to 2012 with my discussions with council and making sure that the gym was a part of the community project.
All right, thank you, Renee. We've actually run out of time. Do we have any questions from any members?
I just want to, I think that the toilet use had been resolved, so can, the powers that be follow that up, please? Because that's, yeah, I thought that had been worked out, so that's, apart from anything else, that's something that I feel been trained, the rest done. As you know, the sorting out so that all of the groups can have suitable space and do all of these great activities as a priority for this board and we are doing our best.
And just to acknowledge all the hard work that goes on, because all of our farm and utilise each and every one of your organisations and services, and the fact that the voluntary work that you do in our community is just.
Just clarity on the toilet, you said it was designed to be a public toilet, it intended to be a public toilet.
Apparently it was, and later on it became a toilet just for when there were big events.
Yeah.
And open only events.
Okay.
Or when there was a day like the bowling club, then there were other people there. Or when the time we were both places, it was open.
It's a council requirement.
Council, was that EPDC?
No, we did it ourselves.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Just want to total for, council, member Felia's, words to thank you for the work that you're doing in the community, providing the opportunity for so many people and providing a variety of opportunities for so many people that otherwise may not have that opportunity. So thanks to you all.
We were supporting on the.
You all, Okay, our next deputation is from Rob Pink, Hokianga Tricks for Kids. Kia ora, Rob.
Everybody, first of all, I'd just like to clear up the toilet thing. I lock the toilet, disabled toilet. No disabled people going to the gym. But I lock the toilet because I'm speaking for Hokianga Tricks for Kids. I'm their voice. We've got the arena on that piece of land. And the reason I locked the toilet was 2 kids got off their horse, a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old, to go to the toilet. They were told by the gym, these toilets are for the gym only, you can't use them. Okay, that's the way it is. There's a spare toilet there, so put the on that. And yes, there is a little bit of stuff in there, but it's also for the kids. Of Hokianga Tricks for Kids. Now, there's a lot of going on down there at the moment about who wants what. This arena I built there was the first thing on the whole of that area. And the reason we built it there at that stage without a lease, the lease was still on Rawini Rugby Club. Mike Colbrook, Dane Wright, those are the ones I deal with. They said, Rob, you can build your arena over here. There's nothing there. It was a hell of a mess. I brought a digger in, a bulldozer in, we maintained the whole place, and we built an arena. Then 12 months later, or 18 months later, the community board gave us $4,500 to fence it all off. Drainage, a base on it, and wood chip to maintain it. Now these kids have been there since 2008. Michelle, you did a great report, and I know why you kept a lot of things away from me seeing it now when I read that report. She's put up with a lot. And in that report, 10 months ago, there's a letter to the council from the Saving Trust saying, we want the horse arena, that's these kids, removed off the list. We want the horse kids here removed out of the sheds that are owned by the council. When I read that, I go, wow, what is going on here? So over the years, I've taught over 100 kids to ride horses. That arena is a health and safety thing. That's what it was built for. You teach kids to ride these days with helmets in arenas before they come out. And it's been wonderful and it's well used. I'm not going to sit back when there's 2.5 acres of land between where the gym is now that goes right down, all with bamboo and everything, that can be cleared and they can build a whole new gym there. I'm not going to sit back and have these kids just treated like that. These kids are 100% Māori kids. They all whakapapa to Ngāti Hau. Ngāti Kaikohe. So, and if you look into it, you'll find out where Ngāti Kaikohe connection to Rawini is through the rivers. So when you want to move an arena off where it is now, when you want to move the kids horse gear out of the sheds they are now, you're removing the kids. For me, I'm just a voice for them. I spend hundreds of hours a year with these kids. I've got kids' jobs when they've grown up, written more references, answered more questions. This day and age, kids are joining gangs at the age of 10, 12. Not one kid that I've taught ride horses has joined a gang. So, as I'm going to leave it, what I'm going to say to you is that domain is owned by all of us. And these kids' arena is not moving.
staying right where it is. That's my point to you.
Good, thanks, Rob. Any questions from any members? Member McVeigh?
I just want to reiterate that the board supports all of the groups to continue and to do all of the awesome things, and it is a priority to try and find a way through.
Okay, anything further? No,
I'll let this guy mention, I'll unlock that toilet tomorrow. Show me recreational services should be employed to run those toilets.
Yeah.
So the mowing of the lawns around there, the council know that they're all already paying recreational services to do it, but they don't have to because it's being done by the gym. But recreational services are being paid to do it. And the toilets, recreational services that run every day in the public toilets, they should be doing those ones as well. If they do those, I'll put the lock back on. And there's a disabled toilet.
and thank you for the work that you're doing for those kids, Rob, and the Hokianga community. So we move on now to, we've only got two, haven't we?
No, just the speakers, yeah.
So now moving on to speakers. Our first is from representing Cruising the Bays, Ros Dennis and Leanne Tasker. It seems like that area over there might be a good position. Ros and,
That's a thing, they just speak.
Cruising the Bays is a non-profit community event. We have got visitors coming from all over. We had it this year, and it was amazing. This event relies on community support to get it up and going. Hopefully, in a few years, it will be able to fund itself. This year we had 164 cars coming from all over New Zealand. Despite the weather, they had an amazing time and so we're asking the local communities to get behind us, support it, to make it grow. Kaikohe actually pulled it off amazingly this year. The feedback that we got from all the people that came said that Kaikohe was amazing. I think Kelly needed a little bit more support, but she did extremely well. We had a meeting with Media Works tomorrow. They see it being a huge event in Auckland, and they want to come on board as partnership. We also had Red Cross New Zealand talking with others, which is an international company. Coming on as sponsors as well. So basically, we are sort of asking you to keep us the support like you gave us this year, and hopefully we'll carry on.
So, to all our community, volunteers, we're all passionate about bringing something to Northland that will help the whole community, not just one community. We move. So this year we're going to Taipei, and we're on to Matthews and Sam. So it's spreading love basically. So we're just trying to get around everybody in the community. And our committee are always looking for pathways to better ourselves. We're open to anybody who wants to come on and ask us any questions or how we can do better. But we're very passionate about doing what we do. We're also part of the NSRA, which is the National Street Ride Association, and we raise money for the likes of the and flight trust as well, and the fire service. So not just a quick, event. We want this to sort of last and bring quite a few people to Northland, which will help Northland's economy. So the only problem we have at the moment is there is in the pipeline we could get from doing something at so that's not going to help Northland or far north as a whole. Hopefully by the time there's a big, so it's a Northland and North will help. Get up the boost.
Any questions from any members? Right. Thank you guys for your presentation to us this morning. Well done. Order. Our second speaker for today is Noreen Jordan, representing the Kaikohe A&P show. Kia ora, Noreen.
Noreen Jordan, Secretary of the Kaikohe show, and to speak to you. The purpose of our show is to bring down the country to town. And we always, there's an entry fee for people to come in. So we like to make everything inside free for families. So it's a nice day out for everyone. We've done in January 23, ones we've ever had. We estimated funded that show that day. We are not an organisation, so we just can't even that's all we want. Just for pure enjoyment. We're all volunteers like everyone else. And that's about it.
Any questions from the members?
We offer bouncy councils, merry-go-round and adopt the cars.
To show you what it's agricultural plastic show, is that right? It's quite a, how long is that?
We 97 years next year, so, yeah, and it's a bit fun. Yeah, so we just want to do for the people. Yeah.
And if you had more funding, would there be opportunity for more rides?
Yes, there would be. We used a crowd in Kerry.
Yes. Any further questions? Thank you, Noreen, for your forceful this morning.
May I
talk about that later on?
May I leave and go to work?
Right, thank you. I need to speak up. Mukaraka representing Kairako Ahi.
Here.
Is this part of your application?
Not all of this is information, it's just sort of information, and there is also, that's available in the documents.
It's had already, so that you can actually get it.
What is this? I'm Stella Walker, I'm a mother of August, and I am a lead of Vanessa Years, which is one of our public universities, and I grew up on steps now, to be able to program but troubles and stuff I had access to, but that has influenced a lot of my work here in Kaikohe. So our events and what we're asking is attention around to 365 hours currently composed of development in Kaikohe over the next 3 to 5 years. And it's also looking at the high complex needs as most of those are social housing, that will the high complex needs and that will likely bring into our town. It's not clear where these are coming from. A lot of the response to our public access document is that they are already here in the community, but it's not clear. We have no visibility of that. There doesn't seem to be transparency in what we have highlighted. And our document is that Kaikohe Intermediate is our only intermediate school. And with that leads us to that role at just over 150, easily able to struggle with that social housing. That highlights the very significant issue. It's been an issue housing around using I would say. And so our goal is to use all of these different factors, housing being one of them, climate being another, use all of these different priorities, risks, emergent issues to just position ourselves as a community, to be able to think more aspirationally than these from a deficit to be able to front. We believe that there are, and when I say we, I run a project and administration company. I'm doing Maui and Hapu VA agency and in the country. That is industry registered, it's 4,000 strong VAs, which is virtual administration network. So that's my background. But one of the key drivers in this project has been incorporated from TMRO, which is the special education education through her role. And direct response because I'm thinking that are likely going to need our support and the services to be available. And so our first step is to I like cousins. So my approach to the initiative is always to first understand what are our limits, what are our boundaries, I want to do users first. So Kaikohe is our space, space that we're living in. Then next is to categorise, understand, collect all pieces, categorise and colours, synergies. Where can we find some synergies that are going to help us create this beautiful picture? And so that is the first step in our goal. Our intention is that this could do a lot of what the leadership groups that are already present are here could support these strategies so that we can build a place that actually builds up with people that are already present and already active and already participating here. And an example of that is Linda from the ADA and my daughter. They are using the opportunities to develop a economic action plan. And so the project itself is initially an event that connects advisors and connects with our key services, and then starts to build Kaikohe-Hokianga. Associations are made and wants to understand what do we actually do, how effective are those pieces that we already have, are they working, are they relevant, are they effective, and then from there build a relationship that are going to move more together. So,
We have about 1 minute for any questions from any members. Any members have any questions?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's right, I was listening to multitask. Yeah, I see the dates like this is like the end of next week or the week after. So I just wondered, so you've put a lot of organisation obviously into the planning of this already and setting it up. So I just wondered, what will you do if you don't get the funding that you're asking for?
So we've already sourced other funding for phases of the project, which we have negotiated with those funders that if they are mandatory tapa, that they may be used as such. But we have also ensured that right at this point we haven't any committed for the event for next week. But my team has been supporting the project at no cost, and the venue, essentially, my company is currently holding the rest for this event.
and that's fine. I just have a question, Scarlett, about the education aspect of the group and how much of the responsibility of what you're trying to do actually lies with the Ministry of Education.
So essentially, we wanted to bring it out of education. So we have been engaged with all of the services that we're engaged with. There's an element of accountability that we're trying to bring to the table from the service providers, but we know that it needs to be community-led for it to be effective and for it to make the change that we want to. So while, I mean, I guess for me, the services are responsive, they're reactive, and the ambition is to get in front, is to be aspirational, to not be thinking from a point where we are having to react to an emergent issue. And I believe in, and also our working group, we've done this on the belief that we can get in front, we have all the pieces that we need. It just needs a house, and whatever that house looks like is what we're actually trying to build. And that can't be housed in any one place. It needs to be until it can be fixed somewhere and given the opportunity to be developed, it has to be somewhere, I guess, neutral. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, to an extent it does. Yeah. So you talk about the working group, but who are the members of your working group?
So on our working group, there's Floyd Weehongi, Ira Tahere, Irana Tahere, Lisa Brophy, Bernie Rakete, Mike Shaw's on there, and KBA members have been supporting individually as well.
And we're aware of the event all the way out in Hokianga, so it's the table of creators and. Okay, thanks, Scarlett, for all the money that you put into it this far. Thank you for your presentation to us this morning. Any speaker from Life Education Trust? Got somebody here from the Life Education Trust? Oh, sorry. Well, that's all right. I know it's fine.
Kia ora everyone. So Life Education Trust, for those people who don't know, Harold the Giraffe, mobile classroom visits the schools from Maramaku to Timpapua, right across farm. Our program, yes, we are always funding because it's a huge task to operate. Over the last couple of years, we've been so fortunate. We now have our digital classroom, which we were the last classroom of 52 in the country. We were the last one to go digital, to get enough funding to go digital. And it's made a huge difference. Still love Harold. Love going into that classroom. We've managed to purchase our own tractor unit, truck to tow it around, but of course there's all those operational costs and our roads. Our roads are not good to the Broadwood people, and for us getting Harold from Awanui, Para area down through to out to Mitimiti and Kangaroo, it's a challenge through all those roads, and it plays havoc on the classroom. So, there's all those costs and everything's gone up. So we're really fortunate that although there is a National Service Centre for Life Education where they do all the PD, the educators, every cent, every dollar that we manage to fundraise in the North stays in the North, so it stays with us and it helps us actually keep the classroom on the road and visit all the schools. We visit over 80 schools in the farmers every year. We see over 6,000 students, so it's really important for them. We teach programs, and I often get asked this, and they just sent something through to me, and I thought that's perfect. So because we're always updating our programs, and especially now we've been asked so much programs on health and wellbeing, personal identity, discrimination, vaping, unfortunately, is a huge one, but we have, our educators are experienced in those areas. We can go up to year 11, talking about these issues, helping students. So it's really important. Teachers in the classrooms don't have a lot of time to teach health, and we're the ones that come in and offer that in a professional way and an exciting. I don't think I've ever met one kid who doesn't like Harold. So that's why I'm here today, and thank you. Questions for Diane?
Right, about how many students do you actually practice again?
6,000. We're one of the highest. So in other areas, so take Auckland, where they've got 6 classrooms. They take a classroom to a school and it can stay there for a whole term. We move our classroom at least twice a week because some of our schools are one day, we make sure we go to those schools. We make sure we get out to Midland, get to Waikari and Karatū and all the schools, because everyone deserves to go. Everyone deserves to go through the classroom. So that is our aim, that no child is left behind, no child is not seen.
Thank you, Diane. The question.
I just wondered, what is the difference that any funding that we might be able to give you, what difference would that make to those programs?
It's the operational costs are huge for us. It helps us with our educator. We have to send her, she goes to PD 3 times a year, and we have to actually pay for that, raise money for that. We do have schools who can't afford to pay, and we make sure that we can cover those schools.
Question. Are you accessed by the homeschooling concession?
We can be. We can be. We have spoken with them, and if we're in an area where there's homeschoolers, yes, they are welcome to come along. It's the same with preschoolers. We often have preschoolers going through the classroom.
Are there any current homeschool students engaged at home?
We only see them when we're in the area. So it depends where the classroom is. At the moment, it's in Russell. So it just depends. We only get... Yes, yes.
Thank you, everybody. Well, Diane, thanks for the work that the Switzerland Education Trust does for our schools and our community, and all the effort and the organising that I know you and a few others put into that happening. Thank you. We have our final speaker today, May Nicholson, representing Kaikohe-Hokianga Ki Te Raki. Kia ora, May.
Good, Katie. Whatever I've done, like Shark Tank, It's nothing like that at all. I don't want that many $1 million. We have a little community trust based in Manahoka, so because we don't actually have a physical office there anymore. The building that we were using was the old radio station. That's basically for you in voting. So we're based at my house. We moved from all of our mine. We have 11 mine in our organisation. I have a beautiful group of people who help support us and board, ranging from our people. And we have been doing Christmas in the park, which really is Christmas in the school. And we've been doing it, this is our 5th year in a row that we've done. Even when they had to COVID close us down and said you weren't allowed to have more than, I think it was a group of 50. So we still ran the program. We went to each individual school. There was a group of 5 of us, little school group, and we ran activities for them for the day. We fed them, we had fun with them, they engage with them, and the thing is that we try and connect with them. When they're at primary school, at least primary school, schools involved are Umawera, Angamoka, Horike, primary school, rural areas. And rural areas will sometimes bring their, up to year 8. Really based on year 1 to 6. And not for any particular reason other than it's kind of like, what we can manage right now. And we are also a one charity, non-profit. And so we just make do with what we had and what we can keep. So for 5 years we've done that, and schools contribute. They contribute fruit usually. They bring a packet of sausages and bread on the off occasion. So we provide everything else for their occasion. But the thing is now, we don't advertise it completely out there. It's not out there and the whole community's talking about that. They are, in Mamamuka, Morike, Broadland and that, they are speaking about it. Thing is, other schools who are saying now that they'd like to learn us. We'd really like them to. But we don't have the capacity to do it at the moment. Because every year when we run the event, we're only thinking of what we can possibly get. Now we think if we could run it next year or something with it, Kaikohe Primary School particularly was asked to join us. And we've had a school from Kaikohe, which with the closing of the gorge at the moment is probably not a feasible thing to do right now. So we have, the opportunity to make it grow is out there. The other thing is we have whānau from these kids that go to our school. They want to come. They say, how come we can't get a Santa come to our school and give us presents and stuff? We do give the kids gifts. This year it's a very much low-key thing because everyone knows the station story. Cost of everything is going up. And nothing is coming down. So we don't want to give them a little silly gift, something silly. So we're trying to make it so it's kind of like, a lolly, something to play with the gear and something to take home. But very much, I think it's around $7 per child. At the moment, it's around 80 to 100 children. Then we have the Mangamuka Kuhangareo wants to join us. We have 2 play groups that are also going to join us. One at Umawera and one at Books. So we try to keep it cheap. But I think the important part of it all is the whanaunga. Get all those kids together every year. They see each other. They may see each other through the school year anyway. When schools have swimming competitions, sports and all of that. But this is a fun day just to relax and just to hang out. They all do a performance. It starts off with a 20-minute performance from each school. They can do kapahaka, some do Miami. They say you can do whatever they like, so long as it's their platform to it, that actually. And that's pretty much it. Then at least you get whiskey. Like shark okay.
Any questions for me? Any members?
Fine.
You mentioned some schools contribute bread and stuff. Is other contribution, like do they because it's an annual event, do they think in now when they're setting their school budgets that that event's coming up, we need to put $1,000 aside from our budget for that?
Gee, I wish they would.
I wish they would too, because I've heard just this morning a couple of comments about schools having no money.
Yes, exactly. Just why we try to just come in and do it and try to do it in such a way that it's not going to cost $1 million. Just why applying to this district council particularly is a good option for us, because when you apply to COGS and other funding agencies, the paperwork and all the riffraff you go through, at the end of the day, for a couple of grand, it's like, yeah, really? So, and we're thankful for this platform to be able to speak to the event, and that you guys have contributed to us for the last, this will be 5. We're very grateful for that, because without that, we'd be probably struggling to do it every year. We probably may not be able to do it every year.
Thanks, mate. It's the last installation for the day, our last speaker today, so if any of you of our members, public members would like to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you'll feel free to go whenever you would like to. So we're going to move into the next part of our meeting now, which is previous minutes. Page 8. Just before, Member Edmonds, would you like us to move to 7.2?
Yeah, good, yeah.
Yes, okay, we're going to.
Just before what you call it, the where you comments for that particular reasons. Is there a list of conflict interest? Because I made a conflict on some of the funding.
So when we come to that one, yes, we can, you can mention at the end.
Yeah, just in the minutes.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so we're going to go to item 7.2 on the agenda.
Yeah, well, I might start. Do you mind me moving something different?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry about what I did.
No, I'm just going to say that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board recommends back to the Kaikohe Ride for Life that they establish a working party and not a committee.
So if we start with the recommendation, there being a misprint, that it should say that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board formally established the Kaikohe Ride for Life subcommittee.
It's actually a committee. It is actually a committee because we are the board, right? We are, and it's Local Government Act Schedule 7, we are the local authority. The local authority establishes this committee, so it is a committee, it's not a subcommittee.
I recommend we have to sort of discuss it first, and then lots of sharing which is.
Well, no, it wouldn't
Can we just adjourn for a couple of minutes because we've got a couple of members out at the moment, so.
Holly, just pause the live stream, please, and we'll let you know when we're back. We're just going to adjourn the meeting.
I've only got till 11:30, so.
Yeah, because I did concerns as well. I think it would be.
Thank you, and we're back in our meeting. So we're going to have a discussion about item 7.2. And now that all members are back at the table, we'll start that discussion.
Yeah, look, I'm going to speak against this. Firstly, what I'll do is I'll say that the purpose of this is quite telling. That the committee, this Right for Life committee, wants to gain more leverage in the community board and council. I don't reckon that's a purpose that we should allow. It's good enough purpose for them, but it's not a good enough purpose for us. The Local Government Act is quite clear in that we can make subordinate decision making of the bodies, which are committees and subcommittees. But I don't think that we want a group like that making decisions on things that they should be coming to us to support or not a decision. So the purpose of the subcommittee is for the board to further aims by delegating certain decisions. But for the members of this committee, they just want to get more power than what they want. There are no terms of reference in this, and I know that the staff are going to say, but the last subcommittee didn't have terms of reference, they made them later, but this is sort of this year. So establishing the committee and then asking for terms of reference later is just a recipe for disaster, because once you made a decision that wasn't yours, effectively the last subcommittee, and I'll talk about that in a minute, was an aim of the board. It wasn't somebody else's aim bringing the board onto the board. So if you, every time you make a decision to reverse that decision later will be harder and harder. So you'll get a terms of reference that you may or may not like, and you'll be pressed by the staff and the report to accept it. And then once you've got the term of reference, you'll be expected to accept the recommendation. You don't have to fight against the recommendations if you don't like them, rather than simply not accepting them if they're outside. So, so I believe if we have a subcommittee here or a committee, we'll rapidly lose control. And I think we've had an example of this a couple of years ago where a group had a dubious set of governance documents, and we here tried to correct them, and we were unable to correct them until it was all done at council, and now we've got the situation at Ravani that we've got today, where it's just simply, we didn't have control because we didn't have sort that out to start with. Now, the previous community board pioneered the idea of a committee, and I don't think anybody in community boards in the country had done a committee before we had in the last term. We'd spent there was an experienced board, and we thought we knew what we were getting into. And I've spent many years discussing with local government experts on whether we should. I don't think we should have. I think it was a failure. I think there were lessons to be learned out of it that weren't. And as I see, this report doesn't really reference it, but we made some mistakes, and I don't think getting into a sub-based committee at this point in time, there's enough experience or enough learning from those mistakes from last time. Back to the report, I think the report is deficient. I don't think, basically, they refer to, there's about, 2 paragraphs of discussion and options, and it refers mainly to the council standing orders. We don't follow the council standing orders, so we've got community board standing orders, so I'm a bit worried about the quality of the report in that aspect. So I believe it says in there that the working party has decided they will become a subcommittee or committee of community board. I mean, that's our decision, not their decision. And what is my last? Oh, and the report implies that the estimating recommendations to the council is a given, and that's the point before, right? I mean, we want to be able to gatekeep all those things as much as we can, and if there's somebody else outside that wishes to get funding, they can come to us, and we can make that decision rather than them getting a leg up or extra leverage over the council, over the community board by being a committee. And there really isn't anything in this report that supports the recommendation. It just seems that the recommendation simply reads, reason for the recommendation, establishing a committee requires a report. I mean, that's hardly reading this recommendation. So I'm quite passionate about not letting a subcommittee be established on this really for this purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm too concerned about it. You can't support it. The reason is I don't have any issue about what I want to achieve. Don't have an issue with that. The problem I have an issue with is establishing a community board committee. I would like to see the solution, because there is a big issue in the town with lights riding on the right hand side of the road, riding up through the middle of the footpaths and on this other thing. But I'm like, any action to be done that produce results and can succeed, which will take funding. By establishing a committee or community board, one is you're not can't give them any money, the community board can't give them money, and they're not a charitable trust, so very likely means that they cannot get any funding from the likes of that foundation north of the other groups because they don't meet criteria, and that's one thing. Secondly, they don't fund council. They say very specifically they will not fund council past as well. You have got a very strong council case where that actually happen. So I think we want to make this successful and work. They should be established as a charitable trust, set themselves up as that, will use the current charity And then they really come to us, and certainly we will support the role of the community board and its committees are really a governance role. They provide oversight and they must be impartial. They shouldn't be attaching to any one particular group. They should represent the whole community in this case. I would like that to be visualised. So and secondly, as Mike did point out, terms of reference, you only have the terms of reference. You're trying to establish something and then didn't write the terms of reference, and that's the question we're around. So I'd say that this is not clear enough for me what I want to do, so I can't support this. So I strongly recommend that they go away and look at some structure that can come under that exists, the charities that exist, establish a charity, and then have clear models.
So, through the chair, oh, sorry, unless there's any other discussion that, before you get to what's actually going to go on the table. Oh, yeah, it's a bunch of questions for me, like I think, I had with this, I sat in one meeting and, I take their purpose as given, I don't take it as anything else, so that's, they're trying to set up something and work their way through solutions around this bike riding issue. I think, to me, the establishment of terms of reference, I think it could be put into any agreement that that they're not just, we don't want to just blanketly accept some terms of reference. If there's a discussion to be had, so we're not happy about this point or that point, then we don't just have to agree just because they write a set of terms of reference. So I think that's not a problem to me with the proviso that we wouldn't just automatically sign off their terms of reference anyway. Now, you mentioned the campus group, that wasn't a subcommittee of council or the community.
What I'm saying is that this is governance, and that's what we've got here, we have an experienced governance, and we wouldn't be able to, I don't believe, govern a subcommittee of the council, but of the community board. I mean, I agree with the idea of that.
I haven't finished because I think making that comparison between the campus group and this, they're two different things, so it's a different situation. I would need more information around that. So they're a subcommittee of the community board. Does that mean they can't apply to community board for funding? Is that is that the case? Is that
the funding that's given to community boards is for community, not always.
Sorry, everybody, I just need to enforce standing order 20.2, the time limit on speakers, so that we can
suspend that standing order.
suspend the standing order so that we can get more time to continue the debate, please. Thank you.
I've got a meeting that I've been waiting for months for, so.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
How do I add that? I don't know. Yeah, sort of the 7.
I just need clarification that
Member.
that can be setting up to be a subcommittee isn't gonna, of a community board, isn't actually gonna penalise them as councillor Burkett has pointed out, so that would be something that I would be interested in, and I think even in whether, if they're set up as a subcommittee of this community board, that doesn't count them out from setting their own governance group up, like this is a starting point, surely.
Yeah, but then why are you doing it? Look, that's the problem I actually have. As I said, I don't have an issue, you know, what I get right for life with the, trying to cheat, I think everybody would agree. That's a big issue, it's probably have. It's how we go about it, so we get something like it. By community boards, picking this up, they're actually saying, that is a community board problem, and we're going to pick it up, and we're going to drive it and try and do it all ourselves. I really wanted to do that. We create a study, soon you do that, you delegate from some authority, just something we said before, you actually can't go and say, well, we're going to overrule you. If you actually give authority to go and write those things, to do that, you actually have to take away the delegation and then overrule it. And then, you know, it's messy. So I you know, don't get the term of reference first, you know, do all of this, but I'd say, is that really the best structure that we got here? Because they would have to go, like I say, the two cheapest We can still support them as council, we can definitely still support as we can, and still make recommendations to council, that's our role. Like in these other groups that have come to us, like we started this one, would be 50, or any other. We can make out of that recommendations to council, that's actually a role, and it goes up to you, so the advantages that the seekers here, they can get. The only thing that we have staff members, for example, taking minutes, but is that a really big issue? We could, well, that's not the real big issue. I said the real big issue is having the funding that's needed to achieve all this. And we don't want to hinder that in any way. We can give any one of these organisations, I think some conditions, as we know, that they have to meet, we give them funding, as we are doing. But really, we shouldn't be funding ourselves with money that's been allocated to us for these other things. It's still quite right.
So can I just get some clarity around this? There's two issues that I see at the moment. One is the status of the committee. It appears that the intention is coming under or alongside the community board, which has its own difficulties that you explained. The second part is the terms of reference and how you tie that committee to the agreements that we intended to have for that committee. Now, is that, and I'm hearing the question, is that the best position for that committee, for that committee, because their primary purpose was to address the issues that would be held. For myself, it's about, again, getting some clarity from that committee so that we can steer them in the right areas. Because of the fact that we want to see some outcome based on the behaviour that's been presented for Kaikohe. But they're putting their hand up to do that, not the community board. Sure. And what you're saying is that if they were part of the community board, then we would be seen as transferring funds from the period, which is here, which what I'm hearing can't happen.
Yeah, I think that would cause issues.
Yes, that's and those are things that you have. We have also highlighted as well.
Funding,
yeah.
Plus,
So we come back to the status of the committee. Is it our intention to suggest to that committee that they have a preferred option of applying for the what's it called, non-profitable centres, or would they be best to work alongside an already set up organisation, for example, Kaikohe Business Association or something like that? Are those the options?
Kia ora, Councillor Tapa. I'm going to reinstate standing order 20.2. Do I have a seconder for that, please?
Is that super time frame?
Once it gets, sorry, just through you, the chair, once it's reinstated, there will be opportunity to debate once there's a motion on the table. Again, like to talk to the motion once it's, yeah.
Can I just ask one? Do I have a seconder for that motion? To reinstate 20.2.
Which is just to get an item on the table.
Yeah.
Papa.
Thank you, Councillor. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to move a new motion to leave the establishing of a Kaikohe Wildlife Subcommittee on the table until the terms of reference are established. Do I have a seconder for that motion? You have done your. All those in favour?
You got to be allowed to speak to that.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, and I sort of said second in my discussion, and I think agree 100% let's do the term of reference. But as an example, very quickly, we said that it might be said to when you're looking at the establishing commissions for city governments, which usually need to be paid about spring, which companies are in, you set up a committee to improve the involvement of people specifically in that community. And they would then make recommendations in terms of how that can be best done. As a council, business, looking at council governance and how we can actually change it. That's the appropriate structure of the community. This is looking at doing the marketing and trying to solve this problem. There's the governance that we want to control in terms of our council, and that's the issue of our So, I probably want to support that because I think we need to look at structure and what other things to do on the table. What we deal with these issues and actually talk to the regional parties and say, what's the best thing we can do to make this together.
Thank you. Any other further discussion?
Yeah, I think, I do hear what you're saying, and what we actually would like to do is how best we support the resolution of the problem that we all see. I think one of the other issues that has come up, and it's come up, in a number of things that have been talked about today, and other issues that are taking up a lot of our, time, is there's a real I think one of the reasons that this subcommittee's been proposed is because there's often a mismatch between council processes and understanding within community groups. And that's why we've got so many of these issues. I know this because of what we're doing with these other groups. So I think this was about trying to streamline the work so that it's in line and those community groups don't come up against them, well, you didn't do it right, that wasn't the way to do it, or you haven't covered these things. And especially now we've lost our community development team, and as far as to my knowledge, they haven't been replaced or anybody to take that money. So I support more information to come in of how we best support. And that whether that's around the terms of reference, whether it's around whether this is actually the beneficial way, whether we're penalising making a subcommittee because then they can't obtain other funds or they can't obtain funds with us. Seeing the side of the point, so I'd like more information.
And just saying, having sat in a week with these groups from around communities, Road Safe New Zealand, and they have the capacity to drive this kaupapa themselves if they were to become a non-profit organisation. They do have the capacity, and I know the mahi worked within the council FNDC workers at the moment stretches over into different kaupapa who does that. So yeah, I would like to see more reports and information provided how we can progress their group, which is ready to go, community driven, to address the issues of what is on the table.
Do we need to?
Do you have anything further to report about that? Okay, well, we have a motion on the table and we'll put that to vote. The motion is that we leave it to lie until terms of reference are established. All those in favour, please raise your hands. And those against?
And
Recorded. And any abstentions?
I'm just still learning the process. Is there a possibility to motion an amendment to that? When do I need to do that?
Sorry.
Motion an amendment to that motion.
Sorry, so that just went to the vote and has won. It's been carried. But the discussion has not been
ended.
And, ended. That this allows for further discussion.
Oh, and I support that.
Okay,
I support that.
great.
Okay, thank you.
Now we have back to confirmation of business. Sorry.
Next item on the agenda is 7.1, 6.1, which is on page.
Second. Confirmation.
Minutes that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board confirms the minutes of the meeting held 25th of October 2023 is a true and correct record. I'll move that motion, seconded by Member Fair.
I'm sorry, they've just.
Okay, you've done it. Wait till I finish reading. Okay. Minutes, now we move to item 7.1.
I'll just put that to the vote, sorry.
Oh, sorry, put that to the vote, the confirmation minutes, all those in favour? Aye. Any against? Thank you, that's carried. Moving on to item 7.1 on page 14. The 2024 meeting schedule. The recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board adopt the following meeting dates for the 2024 calendar year: 16th of February, 22nd of March, 19th of April, 17th of May, 21st of June, 19th of July, 16th of August, 20 September, 25 October, 22 November, 20 December 2024. And B, and delegates to Chair Tricky Radcliffe authority to change the meeting dates. All those in favour? Oh, do I second? Sorry, mover, seconder. Thank you. Yes.
One thing that did come up, I had this and Harmony, you noticed that and a few others and several others know about this. Can I just suggest that we can actually have some of the meetings, make a note in different places, and one is up there at the main, and the acoustics is a lot better, space is a lot better, and we can also then do a bit of a.
Start thinking about other venues there.
Yeah, but also it's perhaps find time to do a showcase to the community board members who probably haven't seen it. And because what he did it right actually, when you look at village design and things of nature, the principles actually in this. And so if you look at instead of picking a particular item and winning that, the principles are the key thing, and that comes out when you look at the
Thank you, Councillor Research. So we're going to move on second for that recommendation. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Carried. Item 7.3 on page 33. Okay. We have Elizabeth here in the room. Is she? Yes, there she is. Okay, so we have the footpath program recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board received the report Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board 2024 to 2027 footpath program priority report and confirm the listed locations for inclusion in the draft 2024-2027 long-term plan. I'm a mover for that recommendation. Thank you, Councillor Vusic, and I'll second that. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Okay, is there any discussion around that?
Oh, it's already just
Done.
done.
That's a good discussion first. And start reports.
Oh, sorry.
With the
Okay.
permission, since we're here, may I just introduce to the board Katie McGill, I asked her to come with me today. Katie is the newest member of our road safety team. She does road safety education and is particularly going to be focused around walking and cycling, active modes, and safe travel to schools. So you may see her out in the community and talking to each of you as we move forward. And I just wanted to introduce you to the board today. Thank you.
Right. Is there anything I can do to reverse that so that we can have opportunity to discuss the
So
recommendation?
we didn't clearly hear the vote when it was put to the vote, so it is still open on the table.
Great. Thank you.
As a mover, I'd like to actually hear from the start, very quickly, to the summary, to bring this note. And I actually did bring along a paper I'm going to look at. And this is something cycling and footpaths that it's an AGM of the Cycleway Trust, and the need to work trust would be together. Save money, and that goes for the walking strategy as well, and cycling, so we both. I'm not going to go into this because that's a simple issue. I just wanted to raise that point, but I'd like to hear from.
Thank you, Councillor Rusick. So I'll take your report as read. Noting that the list of recommendations here came from a workshop that we conducted previously and is a continuation of the board's prioritization from prior years. What I'd like to stress is this list of projects is based on the premise that the board will receive the same funding moving forward into the next LTP as they received in the last, which was 1,470,000 per board per LTP period. There's no guarantees that will be funded at the same level moving into the next LTP. Last time around, Kaikohe-Hokianga did not subsidize any of our projects. It was all locally funded. Again, we're putting these forward for subsidy in the hopes that they will come to the party and pick up part of these projects as well. So although if the board approved to put this list forward to the LTP, it in no way changes your ability to add projects should additional funding become. And with that, I'll happy to take any questions.
Wondering where the Broadwood footpath sits in terms of, it sounds like, it's been an ongoing thing since 2021.
Sure. So through the chair, the Broadwood footpath that we heard earlier today is the first that I'm knowing of. It sounds like it should have been a renewals project, but there was a footpath there. There's now not. I know Melissa has taken a note and she will work back through us to see what the issue is there.
I'll update the board.
On your action sheets.
No.
It's all a process, like if there are.
Sorry, John, I missed what you said there.
Are we talking about, Broadwood footpath that we probably registered for that, but whatever reason was it. And, as I said, Melissa said she's going to go away, get some detail.
So what is the process to prioritize something like that if it's fallen through the cracks or we're not happy with the where it sits on the matrix?
Yeah.
Renewals exist, I'm still working out all of that.
Thank you for that. I am not renewals. I am new footpaths. Renewals are done through Pushla Jordan, our asset manager.
Who's sorry?
Pushla Jordan, our asset manager, sets that program. That said, if it was meant to have been renewed and somehow we have missed our contract, I'm quite certain it will come back up to the top, but we'll check on that and report back to you.
Is that infrastructure, did you say?
Asset manager, so.
Any questions for Stacey?
And yes, one more. So if we only get partial funding, do they do it through line item or is it a quantity and then we reassess our priorities?
So through the chair, that's correct. Particularly the last project on your list here, which is the Kaikohe to Showgrounds, could be staged for the available funding and take it so far and then the remainder of the way. I would mention that that particular project is the most likely to attract either subsidy or alternate funding as well.
So it's funded by a line item, or like subsidised by a line item. That look the same. Right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just really quick. So does Kushla, is Kushla the person
In terms of just the grouping of management, maintenance of already existing footpaths, like gravel.
No, that's the NTA maintenance team and that is the Wakakotahi, oh yeah, that Wakakotahi business, yeah. So that's our maintenance team and I am actually trying to progress that, so, okay.
Thanks, Melissa. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Now we can vote on the recommendation. All those in favour? Was it again? Any against? Thank you, carried.
Who's our mover and seconder?
Thanks, Ivan. We're up to things, project funding reports. Page 36.
Just going to make that clear, there's been my conflict of interest that there, I'm actually chair of the trust. So, we can do by pass, so I won't, take a whole lot, but, just making a report, looking,
So do we need to make two recommendations then? One leaving Roman on trust out?
You can always get that. Because I told that the same from, I certainly could feel the comments of that, I was
So leave Roman Trust out?
yeah.
Okay, the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board note the project received from Hokianga Country Music Festival, ONAM 2023, Ataka Thompson and Whatu Creative. Mover, thank you, councillor Usich, and seconder, member McVeigh, all those in favour? Aye, all those against? None, that's carried. And second
Just for the Malama Trust.
Second recommendation, that we note the project report received from Malama Trust. We have a mover, thank you, member McVeigh, and a second member Filia. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions?
Chair views.
I sort of withdrawn, so I don't need to.
Ah.
You put, not music group was through. They didn't participate.
Didn't participate.
That's what regarding that one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to page 49 to funding applications. We can do them one by one. Yep, they're separate, definitely. So our first application on page 49 is the recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the sum of $1,500 to be paid from the board's community fund account to Cruise in the Bay for Cruise in the Bay 2024 to support the following community outcomes: proud, vibrant communities, communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. Do I have a mover for that recommendation? Thank you, councillor Usich. I'll second that. Do we have any discussion around that recommendation? There's the mover. You have first priority.
It does make significant difference, and particularly covering the whole north. And I know putting it with the house in there, but I'm hoping that the other boys will elsewhere. It's just seems what I've actually seen, a little bit I have seen, it's quite a lot of here.
Further discussion?
Yes, I'm against this funding application because once again, I see that, it looks like that Kaikohe is an add-on, rather than a big focus. I love the idea of supporting the emergency services, but there are definitely other ways, to do so. We support a lot of events, a lot of events that we're looking to support, so we only have a certain amount of funding, so that we need to be really, thoughtful about how we divide up the remainder of our funding over the next 7 or so months. And, as stated last time, I really think we need to move away as a society, and myself personally, I think we need to move away from funding events that promote the fossil fuels and start focusing on events and activities and lifestyles that promote caring for the future for our community and caring for Papatūānuku, and that's my feelings on this.
I just got coming. I attended the last prison day. It was a terribly wet day, but we have children in our schools, particularly boys, that are really interested in and just love the action that cars bring. And while I'm sympathetic to Jesse's kōrero about that, I'm also very sympathetic towards children that have no real opportunity for outings to see the wonderful cars that were here out in the park here, and for that reason, I will be supporting the funds application.
And through the chair, I can confirm that they got 1,500 from Spectre yesterday, and 5,000 from their community boards.
Any further discussion about that? Okay, so we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against?
Would you like that noted?
Yes, I like that noted. Thank you. So that's
Point of order, oh, sorry, to
That's the meeting.
point of order, and this is, a very genuine question, that, are non-appointed council members able to vote in our meetings? Because that, to my knowledge, hasn't happened before. Because, councillor Bursich is a member of this, this community board, and all due respect, it's not questionable, it's a genuine question about process.
Yeah, and I think that's the elected Māori members have due respect through the chairs, is whether they are able to attend the meetings or votes through that's the discretion of the chair, is what my understanding is. And we do not have anything, which is the primary reason why elected Māori members don't attend community board members meetings, because of the, I suppose, the non-engagement.
That, Casey, find some
I do have some information around this, because through the community board executive committee, I've actually been trying to get Māori board councillors to have a place in voting rights on our community board, so it's not that I don't support it. What I've been told is it requires a representation review, so at this stage, my understanding is that it isn't a capacity that we have, it's not going against it.
Sorry, through you, the chair, I can confirm that during the representation review we are conducting at the moment, which will start consultation in soon. It will include the opportunity for Māori board councillors to be included on community boards with voting rights.
excellent, and so it should.
It's so it should, but at present it doesn't.
Correct.
Yes, that's right. Okay, thank you. Moving on to our next recommendation, that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the sum of $1,000 to be paid from the board's community fund account to Kaikohe A&P Association for reducing the cost of children's rights to support the following community outcomes: proud, vibrant communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. Do I have a mover for that?
Yeah, I wish how the week.
Sorry, and seconder?
Yeah.
Councillor Busic?
If you want to move it slightly higher, okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay, hang on. So how do we change that?
Are we on the Kaikohe A&P?
Yes.
Have you already moved it at 1,000, sorry, Chair? No.
They have.
Right, so you can move it at a higher amount, should member, whichever member Tanya Failure, Deputy Chair Failure, would like to move an alternate recommendation, then she can do so.
Because we haven't put that through the motion to vote.
Correct.
Yeah, and I'll.
So we move to,
And I was thinking that, because
so can I move that or does she
No,
have to?
she moves an alternate motion with a new amount.
I move that we manage that $1,000 to $2,000.
Second, that's correct.
Yeah, approves the sum of $2,000.
That's right, and you're gonna second, yeah,
But should you want to change that, should you make it foreshadow?
of course.
Yes, and I would like to foreshadow another amendment
Okay.
to that motion.
So at the moment, sorry, through you, the chair, we have $2,000 on the table to be approved by the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board for the Kaikohe A&P Association with a foreshadowed amendment of
$3,000.
$3,000.
Well, Chief didn't think of it right now. But we can add that discussion. You can add
So
that
we can have the discussion now about the
And then you can-
foreshadowed motion of
and then you can-
$3,000. Is there any discussion around that foreshadowed amount of $3,000?
All I would say is, all I'd say is that,
You're gonna second the amendment?
I support this because they, first time up, it's 97 years they've been doing it. It is the only, pastoral and, cultural, agricultural cultures got findings. So, and you made an amendment.
So sorry, there was an amendment there, but at the approval of the original mover and seconder, if you're happy, you can move it to 3,000, but the debate ends. So if you're happy to increase to 3,000, then we'll have, are you happy with that?
Yep, that's
So
fine.
you'll go to a vote for $3,000 for Kaikohe-Hokianga Association, moved by Tanya, seconded by John.
All those in favour?
So,
Against?
it's three.
I bet it's not that.
No, that's good, it's good learning for us, John. Okay, our next recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the sum of $10,000 to be paid for from the board's placemaking fund account to pay Rākau Araki for community services wraparound to support the following community outcomes. Proud, vibrant communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. Do I have a mover for that motion?
I'll move for sake of discussion.
Thank you. Research and Member Guthrie is seconding that motion. Do we have any discussion around that recommendation?
Since I moved on to the discussion, I think the aspiration of what we're trying to achieve is excellent. Because essentially Kaikohe is trying to pull together an understanding when I read it, and if we're going out to have a corridor, a whole diverse number of issues and trying to coordinate it. I don't know what's going to come of that. It's been tried before. I'm quite keen to see the outcome of that. I'm not speaking of money. And that's going to be a challenge. But I'm willing to give it out to see how well you can get it. Yeah, that's it.
Just having sat in education for the last 30 years, I absolutely see the merits of the mahi and the wraparound services. I do, however, because I've sat in education for 30 years, have concerns around often. We've got wraparound services, but even in our own community, the wraparound services are lacking. So I understand and I love the idea of pulling together a day, a fair, if you want to call it that, with all the provision of all the services around that are able to support those kaupapa. We just the limited amounts of money that we have, so that's just where I sit in terms of my thoughts and around the kaupapa are part of the kaupapa. We totally support the kaupapa, but I just, I haven't decided.
Can I foreshadow an amendment?
Of course.
Do I say yes? Yes. I foreshadow an amendment of $4,000 to support this event. Because absolutely total for the kaupapa is it's a tahua, it's simply the way that the funding that we have and the bigger purposes for the next 8 months that we have, not the other purposes that we have to support it over the next 8 months with the limited funds that we have.
So you can go for a second term, just move straight.
Yes, we have a seconder for Jesse's motion. What was that amount again? $4,000. We have a seconder, thank you, Ophelia, so we can discuss that motion. Any discussion? I think ministry should put their hands up. They should put their hands up. Ministry, the organisations that live within ministry, within our iwi, who whānau, should be funding towards this, more, not relying on community boards or fundraising and things like that. The Ministry of Education needs to stand and fund. So just in addition to that, it's not just Ministry of Education, though. There are lots of other facets here. There's, there's the housing, there's that order. Yeah. All sorts of different people within organisations who have got funding and resourcing to do it. I mean, I commend the group for their thinking. I'm just worried that it could be overshadowed by places like the Ministry of Education or the housing authorities. It just disappoints me that they haven't thought about this, but it's very commendable that we've got members of our community that are. I just see a bit of a risk back there. Yes.
Just on that, like I absolutely hear, I think all of those organisations that have been identified should be supported and put in funding. I recognise though that, as Scarlett has said, that to be community led, there's a danger in having MOE or so, any particular organisation, especially ministry level and government, and so that actually takes away some of the power. So I do recognise that pulling them together and organising it and setting dates and venues and organising that, there's a cost and there's an effort that will far outweigh what we can support. But I do recognise that, and that's what I would like to give a contribution to the effort to keep it out of the hands of those large organisations, to keep it community led, but put the pressure on funding it more back on those services that should be doing this, but give the lead to the Hapuri community of Kaikohe.
I don't make speaking right to the words like I'd be keen to know.
I want to see that in writing first. Having to restore some of my comments. I think one of the key things is to ask yourself, why hasn't this happened before? Is it the volatility of our current status, and in particularly right at this point of time, the change of government, how that will be. But having put those aside, I know that through our Tahika, he's indicated to us that business as usual is his approach. So looking at moving something forward like this, I think there's some credit in the proposal that's been put forward. And I think one of the key things is the operation. We're talking about 5 days in this proposal, and we're talking about intense corridor with some real high profile organizations, and it's next week. That's the other thing, it's next week. And it's been advertised. So the whole of the area is aware of this being proposed. For us to shortcut it now would mean pressure on other funding areas for operation. I can't make a motion, but I think my thinking is around securities, around getting the event across the line, even what across the line looks like to us, because there's a number of big players in this, and how's their appetite going to be accommodated for over these particular areas? Have we got capacity? What's Hokianga talking about in terms of these gatherings? What's Kaikohe talking about here? I think at the end of the day, comes back to the integrity of the fund. I've heard a shift of the fund from 10 to 4, which means it would put pressure on the other side, on the other funders. And Scarlett has indicated that they have not tried to approach other, they are in approaching. So look, it's a worthy program. It will definitely highlight something for COVID, but it will give us an understanding of what's actually happening outside. I just thought I'd look at, is this the only approach? To gather that information, to gather these groups, and also the outcomes of it. Is it going to have long-lasting outcomes for us, or where does it put us versus where are we as Kaikohe? Where are we in this environment? Without my job.
I agree, babe. I just think, high profile people mean high profile funding also. I also think that, the funding application may come to us a little bit late. And it's, if it's dependent on the $10,000. We haven't had the situation where we've had 365 houses in Kaikohe ever. So I think that if we were going to be offering funding, we need to have a real hard think about how much we're giving. And, when I look at our summary here, we've got $80,000 to last us through for placemaking to the end of June. And that's an eighth of the funding that we would be given for the purpose of essentially 5 meetings. And I know important meetings, the advertising of it perhaps shouldn't have happened then if it means that the kaupapas can't continue. Perhaps the funding should have been secured first before the advertising of it went out. How many of our elected members were aware of this meeting is a question that I have. Do any of you?
It went around, but.
Yeah.
I was, but only a Cinco. And
Yeah,
it's sort of-
But
I wouldn't have been all of
it's
it.
always weird. I wasn't aware of how critical the funding is.
Yeah.
I think it's just the short notice that's probably, stuff me, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, because it's, things are still filtering through. And, I'm finding it difficult to decide which way to go.
So, what, actually, that one do, like,
Yeah.
You want to quick journey? Then
That would possibly help. I don't know. Are other members ready to?
Currently at 4,000, is that right?
Yes, currently the motion on the floor at the moment is at $4,000.
what I'm saying is, if the general, those in the plan one on the figure, it's not a foreshadow that and vote that, because we'll see like if we have to vote that down.
Yes, so we have to foreshadow the motion to
But then
change
I don't
those.
guarantee that the higher amount would succeed either. Could end up not getting anything across the table, so it's always interesting.
Okay, can we just take a 10-minute adjournment, please?
We sure can, Chair.
Thank you. If we can.
Harley, can we please pause the live?
Hold on.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome back to our meeting after a short adjournment. We are on page 49, item 7.5. The current recommendation on the floor is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the sum $4,000 to be paid from the board's space-making fund account to Kaikohe-Hokianga for community services referendum event to support the following community outcomes. Proud by the communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. That recommendation was moved by
Jesse,
Member McVeigh and seconded by
Member Gundry.
Member Gundry.
Sorry, it was, Jesse and
Sorry.
Tanya. And second said for $4,000.
So Jesse, do you have any final words in the move of that recommendation?
Oh, I just wanted to put a number on the table, so I'm happy with whichever way it goes.
So we'll put that motion to the vote. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Thank you.
I'm not a little against it.
Okay.
It's a no-no.
We have
You know,
next recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the sum $1,500 to be paid from the board's community fund account for Life Education Trust for the Life Education classes in Kaikohe-Hokianga Ward to support the following community outcomes. Proud by the communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. Do we have a move for that motion? Thank you, Member Ophelia. Do we have a seconder? Thank you, Member Gundry. Any discussion around that recommendation?
This is the, Harold. I thought it was a little bit light, to be honest. I thought it all, but it's.
Okay. Any further discussion? I'll put that motion to the floor. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. The next recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the sum of $1,040 to be paid from the board's community fund account to Manaki Tinana Trust for venue hire and senior fitness classes in Rauhi to support the following community outcomes. Proud, vibrant communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Busich. Do I have a seconder?
Sorry, what was the number?
1,040.
Yeah, I think.
Any discussion around it?
I understand that it's asking for more than 50%, but as one of our visitors stated, they hadn't actually put in their application that all of the volunteer hours, which bumps it up to well more than 50% of what they're asking for.
All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Carried. Moving to our next recommendation that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves a sum of $1,000 to be paid from the board's community fund to Ngāpuhi-Hokianga Kitiraki for costs towards the community Christmas event at Umuira School to support the following community outcomes for our vibrant communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. I move for that. Thank you, Member Gundry, and seconded by Member McVeigh. Any kōrero around that? All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Carried. The final recommendation on page 50 is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board approves the sum of $1,000 from the board's community fund account for Hawaii Taimai Residents and Ratepayers Association for 2023 Community Christmas event to support the following community outcomes. Proud by communities that are healthy, safe, connected and sustainable. I'll move that motion. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Member Gundry. Any discussion around that? All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Motion carried. On to item 8.1. The Hokianga Peer Liaison Group meeting held on September 2023 on page 109. of your agenda. And the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board receive the report, Hokianga Ferry Liaison Group meeting 14 September 2023. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Member Gundry. And a seconder, thank you, Member McVeigh. Any audio around that report? That recommendation? Great, all those in favour, please say aye. Aye, any against? Any abstentions? Okay, item number 8.2 of your agenda on page 114. That the recommendation is that the Kaikohe-Hokianga Community Board receives the report, history and current usage of Rauri Recreation Reserve Domain. I'll move that recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Fusich. Any discussion around that report? And we do have Michelle in the room.
Yeah. Can I just, I'm wondering, I'm not sure what the process is to add, because, on the summary, when you stated that, some of the groups had wide community support, can that be added also to the community gym, so the wide community support is missing off that line, but they do have that? Yeah.
I think I've also put in my report that that's also quite, valuable, but yeah,
Yeah.
My question is, probably, through the chair, was some of the documentation we got today made note of items that felt were needed clarity or missing. Is that being noted? That's the history and usage of the domain that was stipulated.
yeah, that one, that was provided to me
Just now, yeah. But just the question I have is that what they stated they're going to be potentially corrected or noted? Yeah, thank you.
So adding it to, it would have to just be noted as a note in the minutes, wouldn't it? Can't add it to the report after the fact because the report isn't represented.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like this came from one of the participants on the domain. I can't verify it was the correct one, so I don't necessarily want to say it's possible, but I do want to just put it through staff and say, please.
Is there a spare copy of that?
That we don't lose what the definition is. And the second comment I have, Madam Chair, is that there are a lot of users, and we've heard from a number of people, certainly on this sort of conflict and resolution. So I think I need to start that, and thank you for what you're doing. I presume you're going to be cognitive of all of those issues and work through it, because I do believe that the area there is quite significant. And it's really important for Raleigh and to get it right so that we get as much activity as possible occurring on the domains as best we can, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's surrounding. I think the issue that we have is that you don't have any documentation. There's lots of handshake agreements in the past, and there's a lot of confusion coming from us. So who should have what, who's who, or who is allowed to have what place, all these things, and that's what I want to try and do going forward, is make sure that we have everything documented and actual agreements in place with each group, so that we can follow them back to these problems.
And we, at the time, through the chair, if I could just add some extra information. Are we? I've got that one, thank you. We noted in the report that we were meeting with the group on the 7th of November, I think it was, and so we did have a meeting with the group, and we've just outlined to them that the focus is going to be for now on a larger concept plan rather than trying to fix the leases in the first instance. And so that will be part of the wider reserve management plan. And so it's to get that bigger picture and determine what will be suitable to go where before things just plonked in places.
So what's happening with the current leases then?
So we only have one current actual documented lease in place, which is the Hokianga Saving Trust. There is agreements in place with these gym, with the, of the insurance is. Right now, we're using the standstill. We won't be implementing any new visas or agreements until the geotech engineer has a report and a concept plan is made, and then we can then go over public consultation because it is refreshing up. So any new visas will require public consultation. And I do thoroughly believe that the gym itself requires its own separate lease from the gym, and that is a legal advice to do.
The gym requires its own separate.
Yes.
From the sailing trust.
Yeah, it's for ease of conversation and to have a relationship with them, it's completely separate from the gym.
Okay, and how far away is the geotech report?
I'm not quite sure where that's at, I think.
So, yeah, through the chair, our asset team had reached out to the suggested engineer. We've just had a report back from him. I've just found out yesterday that he's indicated that the scope of the projects required is too large for him, and so the asset team will be seeking a different engineer to go with to do the geotech report, and that's only just come in the last day. Katie will be here. She might, in a little while, she might be able to give you a time frame. I think Jeanette was going to come, but she's not able to. So I'm not sure how long, but it will be done as quickly as possible.
So does that geotech person come from within the council?
No, it's an external engineer, a professional engineer. Yeah. So was the previous one, but he's indicated that the scope is too broad for him. And also I have heard, and I want to verify this before I say it definitely, but it looks like the budget that the board provided may not be needed for that, because I think the asset team may be able to source some extra budget from within there. So if that's the case, we will bring that back for a back into your placemaking fund, but we'll let you know some more about that. Yeah.
Any further questions? Comments? Just that some of the things that have been raised and mentioned this morning are to me just so minimal in what we could do. Well, a little storage shed up, chuck the kids things into it, and unlock the disabled toilet. I mean, it just makes sense that that would be something that would take out a little bit of angst in the hotness in the balloon in the room. So simple. And I do want to stand by, there is so much space there. The gym setup currently, they should be able to do a separate lease to be able to at this stage, continue to use the gym. I'm a member of that gym. I just think that so often we've got volunteers there that just want to move through the process and get on with it. And I think we should just work in all our power to do that in the space and the domain that they are. Not only domain, those organisations need to stay on that domain. They need to stay in that area.
Just two other points which I hope staff did pick up on as well. And and that is the toilets there are public toilets, whether that's correct or not. And indeed, is it bridge services, part of the contract? Okay.
So through the chair, that has been discussed previously, and the reason why that it's a bit of a standstill is because we've been working really hard with all those groups down there to try and come to some agreement amongst themselves. We've been focusing on the lease, and the opening up of the toilets has been part of that that's been happening, and so we haven't pushed or progressed that yet, because we would try to see where we would land, but it's definitely on the radar. I know our property team is looking into that. And it'll either be a rec services contract, or what is often happens is we provide a grant to the local people to continue to do with that cleaning. So it is progressing. Yeah.
And they might.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
There was part two, the second question, and that's the money. That's
I'll have to find out about that.
That's part of Brexit's contract.
Yeah, I did hear.
It's being voted for them.
I had heard that we weren't doing that, but I'll need that, I've got that on my list to follow up to clarify what the situation is about the mowing. Sure, yep.
Okay, I'll put that, motion to floor. All those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. Thank you for your work in that space, Michelle. Item number 8.3, the November open resolution report on page 186. We'll move to that. No? You're happy to move that? Thank you, councillor Besich. And do I have a seconder for that?
Yeah.
Thank you, member McVeigh. Any
So
further comment?
just noting that it's not obviously on here, or should it be, it might be that, but this is going to put on the came out of today's meeting, is the footpath.
Yep,
Yeah.
it'll be, yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
a renewal and to report back.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a mover for.
Yeah.
And a seconder, all those in favour? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? No. Okay. Kaya koe te karakia whakamutunga. £5, thank you. Kia tau, kia tātou katoa, te atu whare o tō tātou e rei, me te raro o te atua, me te whiwhinga i tātana ki te reo. Everybody.
Thank you, Harley.
You ready?
I'm gonna eat something.
Let me just make sure.